Let's figure out where our next guest was in 1995, probably on a big league field somewhere, bringing the heat. It's former Phillies closer, current Phillies analyst for NBC Sports Philadelphia, Ricky Bottalico. Good morning, Ricky.
What's up there, Pete? How we doing?
I'm doing well, buddy, and I appreciate you coming on. I know we had a little hiccup last week, but
That was my fault. I couldn't wake up.
I figured as much, and I knew the times would be early. You know, when they gave me the show, they said, congratulations, you have your show. I said, oh, that's great. 8 to 10 in the morning. I'm thinking, how am I going to get anybody to wake up that early? But
Well, it wouldn't have been that bad, but I think we had like something, what was it, rain delay or long game? Come on, you know how that goes.
Well, I was only disappointed because last week I figured I would get angry Ricky Bo. Now I'm kind of getting a somewhat happy Ricky Bo. You know, the angry Ricky Bo is a good.
Last night's disaster? Are you kidding me?
Okay, here we go. I first have to find out, where were you in 95? Because that's when that song, that Breakfast at Tiffany's, came out.
I was right in this city, Philadelphia.
Pitching for the hometown Phillies.
I was. It was my full rookie year.
I love
95.
It. I love it. All right, well, let's get into the current team. Ricky, the bamboo streak is over. I know that will be played up on pregame this afternoon. Are you on pregame this afternoon, or do they give you a day off?
I have a day off, believe it or not.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that happens once in a while.
All right, day off, and of course I call you.
Twitter, and then I'll get ripped apart on Twitter for not being in today.
What, do they think you're a robot? I mean, you can't be there all the time.
Well, I'm pretty close to it.
That's true. I do see you on there quite a bit. All right, the bamboo streak is over. You call it a debacle. Let's see. What was the guy? Jose Alvarez did not look pretty at all last night. They couldn't hit, Rick. 4 1/3 innings of no-hit baseball until finally they put together a couple. Maikel Franco had a double, and then I know you like to hit when you were a pitcher. Vinny Velasquez goes deep.
You know what's funny? I'm looking at the pitch sequence by Hernandez, the pitcher. Why would you throw Vince Velasquez a slider? What are you thinking?
Hang it and bang it.
Number one, you're just speeding up his bat, and if it doesn't have a good bite, you're going to run right into his bat, which is what happened. Easiest pitch in the world to hit out of the ballpark, a slider that doesn't have much break to it. So, stupid pitch on their part. Good swing by Vinny. You know what? Congratulations, his first home run. But, look at the other side of the ball. He didn't throw the ball exceptionally well again. Phillies have to find a fifth starter. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's gotten to the point where I think we have a big enough sample size where we know that this isn't working. Whatever they're doing in that number 5 spot, Cole Irvin or Vinny, it's not working. And it's not working for a lot of guys in the starting rotation. And let's go back to the bamboo. Because, look, I get the superstitions in baseball, but why is it nowadays that it always has to be, like, front page news? I thought that was the dumbest thing ever.
The bamboo.
And I'm not like against it, but what I am against is like, oh, it's bamboo. I was in Double-A and it really worked for me back then, so it should work now. Yeah, it worked against the New York Mets, who you guys have owned, and Maikel Franco is batting .333 against them this year with 5 home runs and 12 RBIs, which is why it worked. Okay, beat the stinking Marlins, because that's exactly what they are, stinking Marlins. Michael Barkan had a great comment in the last, I believe, 21 games. They were 8 and 13. 4 of those wins are against the Phillies.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and the Phillies have now lost 4 straight to the stinking Marlins, as we talk with Ricky Bottalico here. Yes, you're supposed to beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and they're not getting that done. Jack McCaffrey had a tweet last night, Ricky, I don't know if you saw it. He said, the Phillies have trailed at some point in every game since June 11th. That's a lot of heavy lifting night after night after night after night.
You can't play baseball like that. I know that. You know what's funny? Everybody looked at that Mets series and was like, "Oh, how great is this?" They kept coming back. No, it would be nice to, go out in front and stay in front, wouldn't it? I mean, maybe I'm the dumb one here, but I don't think I am. I think it's very simple that if you could get a lead and keep a lead because of your pitching once in a while would be a lot nicer than having to come back all the time.
So fifth starter is your first priority because, last weekend, I know when I hosted the show last weekend, I was talking about the 2 weekend starters were Vince Velasquez and Enyel De Los Santos, and that doesn't scare.
How great is that?
That doesn't scare any. It feels like Severino. What was the guy's name? Severino Gonzalez? Was that his name?
Oh my goodness, Mag.
Matt.
What was his name?
The Severino part I got, and I know
he was. Well, there was another one that was supposed to be a stud, and he never really panned out for the Phillies.
I just remember that as being the marker of if you see his name in the rotation, just don't even watch.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that, haven't we? I mean, there's been a lot of that with the Phillies. This was not supposed to be the year for this. And, I mean, I will give this much. Aaron Nola's busting his hump lately, and I think he's throwing the ball a lot better than he did at the beginning of the year. So many question marks still. I think that's the thing that's most annoying is that this team was not supposed to have this many question marks.
Right. Aaron Nola's
some questions. It was supposed to be a question mark of what relievers do they have to pick up at the deadline.
Right, and
that was the one thing.
Yeah, they're leaking motor oil for sure. Aaron Nola, I've got an interesting stat on him. On July 8th, right, versus the Mets, he went 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. About a year later, June 27th, that day game the other day, 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Aaron Nola has definitely course-corrected. That, by the way, comes courtesy of Matt Gell, beat writer. That was his tweet, and I saved that because I said, I'm going to talk to Ricky Bo about that.
Yeah, Gelb comes up with some good ones. Him actually, our NBC's Corey Seidman, too. He does, too. I mean, it's great. You look at some of the Like you check the tweets like I do, and you look at some of them. Some of them make you laugh, and then some of them make you go, "Huh, really? That's interesting." But I mean, when you look at a guy like Aaron Nola, we all know he's got the ability. We all know he's got the pitches. I'm a firm believer that it's all about his tempo and his rhythm. If you watch him in the games he's not pitching well, watch how slow he is and too methodical. This is a guy that last year dealt, right? And then all of a sudden, he changed things up a little bit in spring training this year.
Yeah, everybody's left to wonder why. By the way, the answer to that question, producer Josh, working hard on the other side of the glass, Severino Gonzalez in 7 starts in 2015, 3-3 with a 7.92 ERA.
Who was the other one? Williams? Didn't they have what was his name?
Now Josh's fingers are typing furiously as you say that. You're making my guy work. No, hey, I can't sing enough praises about Corey Seidman, too, by the way. You're absolutely right. I do want to give him props. I've worked alongside the guy, and my job was to present tweets for those endgame shows back in the day, and Corey always had a more creative Twitter question than I could come up with on my own. I mean, the guy just breathed baseball.
The dreaded end game, right?
Oh, I know that was your favorite part.
Just throw all your clothes off and jump off the couch. Yeah,
pretty much.
That was the end game.
The funniest half hour of television, Ricky Bo, that I ever produced, quote unquote, being a generous word, was the time that Michael Barkan and Keith Jones were reunited in the same studio. And I have no idea how this happened, scheduling issue or something, but, they must have begged him. So Jonesy comes in, he did the regular thing, and then they just kind of sneak in and say, and we're going to do this end game. And Jonesy's like, what is this? So they go over to the couch, and I've got it all sort of scripted. You can't really script for Michael Barkan. You just kind of hang on, and wherever it goes, it goes. But the show begins, and Jonesy takes the pillow on the couch, lays down, puts his head on. Barkan's introducing the show, and Jonesy's like, this isn't really on TV, right? This is on TV? This is on TV right now? No.
Oh, he didn't even know. That's awful.
Right. He's like, I think he knew, but I think he was just playing it up for a comedic effect,
Well, you might as well. I mean, because some things are a little bit comedic in our jobs, Come on, think about it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I go on, and everybody thinks that I'm negative Nancy all the time, and then Barkan just rips something off at the top of the show, and I'm stunned.
Absolutely. Well, hey, the blue glasses guy can get mad too. Sean.
The blue glasses.
Yeah, those blue glasses. God bless.
Careful,
Twitter.
He's living down the shore this summer.
Well, I hope he's listening. Last week we had a surprise phone call from Lou from Ocean City. I wasn't sure. I just said, okay, let's go out to Lou. He said, hi, Pete. It's Lou Nolan. I'm loving the show. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so you never know who might listen to the PT.
I'm a Flyers fan.
Yeah, me too. We're going to talk to Sam Carchidi after we talk to you. Sean O'Sullivan, I think, is that name you're looking for. 15 starts from 2014 and 15, 1-7 record, 6.13 ERA, allowed 19 home runs. That sound right?
Yeah, there's been some bad. There's been some real bad. I mean, I don't think this is that bad, but I think with the team they tried to put together, I don't think this is what they envisioned in the starting rotation.
So all the people wanted to fire Kapler, but in reality, Klentak should get the blame.
Well,
dance around that one.
All I can do is laugh. I mean, I guess if you're going to think about one of the two, I guess, yeah, you go after whoever built the team, right? Because the team is not completely built. Although we had Klentak on, I believe, Saturday, I want to say, and his point, because I asked him, at this point in the season, have expectations changed for you? Are they different than they were at the beginning of the year? And he brought up projections for the Phillies for outside of the area were about 84 or 85 wins. So, that's the answer I got.
It's interesting, and I know you have a fine line.
Laugh at that answer, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely I do. But I also want to let you off the hook a little, too, because I know you have the fine line to walk where you have to be critical of the team, and yet you're the ones that are on the team every single day in the pregame and the postgame and,
right.
all those things that go with it. I know this, the injuries, and especially the one that I keep going back to is the Andrew McCutchen injury. I mean, that clearly changed the dynamic of the ball club. How, in your mind, did that change things both on the field and maybe off the field?
I would say probably off the field even more. Obviously, nobody's been able to step into his footsteps as a leadoff hitter for the Phillies. I think that's really hurting them a lot. And I think off the field, I think he was a guy that kept it real in the clubhouse. And in that sense, is that we are playing a game, we have to step it up a notch and this and that. That's just how he is. I mean. And it's a disappointment. They were 6-11 at the beginning of the Mets series since he was gone. So they got to 10-11. Now they're 10-12 since he's been gone. So it hasn't been pretty. But they have made up some ground because of the Mets. But I don't know. I'm just not buying because of a Mets series right now. I think that's why I'm a little disappointed. My job is to take it game by game. But when you look at certain things, and I watch the Mets series, I think the Mets are in ruins right now. And that team was just ripe to get their butts whooped. And now all of a sudden you run into the Marlins and you lose the first game that's 4 in a row to the Marlins. Kind of sickening, if you ask me.
Yeah, 4 straight to the Marlins. They're the owners, by the way, of the National League's worst record. They're 6-5 against the Phillies and 7-20 against the rest of the division. So for whatever reason, Don Mattingly and the Marlins own the Phillies. Yay. Yeah. Great.
Surprisingly.
And there was much rejoicing. Hey, Ricky, I'm glad you joined show number 2. I really appreciate you coming on. I love when we get to delve into some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I don't think enough people realize, like, if there was some sort of live stream of you watching the game, of course it would have to be on cable because you never know what comes out of your mouth, right? But if there was some sort of the way you watch the game is like the way your first answer was,
there's no doubt.
How does he throw the pitch in that situation? Or who was the Mets guy we sat and watched? Was it DeGrom? Where you were like fascinated that his first 6 or 8 pitches were all 100 miles an hour. We saw that in the conference room one time.
You know what? There's a little different review right away. I mean, I try to bring whatever is heard in the newsroom or the content room, excuse me. I try to bring that onto the set with me.
Well, it's must-watch television. Ricky Bottalico on postgame. Now, who's got the call tonight? If you get the day off, who's in there today?
Ben Davis will be in today.
All right, and his perfect hair. I'm so jealous.
Yes.
I'm follically challenged. Me and Joe Fordyce were in the same category. So,
well, Joe, I'm chasing you guys, so don't worry about it.
Ricky Bo. Who was it? Harry that called you Ricky Bo, and then Michael calls you
Harry
Ricky
did.
Bobo, or right?
Bobo.
And Ricky Beatbox.
No, I call him Michael Beatbox.
Michael Beatbox
because he thinks he could sing,
and he's awful.
Yeah, he's not good.
I'll say it. You don't have to say it. I'll say it.
I'll say it. And if he's listening, I'll be getting a text here shortly.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll catch up with you later in the summer, my friend.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Ricky Bottalico, Phillies pre- and post-game analyst for NBC Sports Philadelphia.